And I want to welcome everybody onto the Zoom call. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you guys so much for coming on. You know, sometimes we feel like we are talking into the abyss as directors. I'm just gonna make sure, if you're not muted, make sure you're muted. Okay. Who is not muted? Somebody's not muted. I can hear people talking. There we go. I think you're good. So unmute. Do you know how to unmute yourself? If you want to ask a question, feel free. Do not think, oh no, I can't interrupt Carol. I'm okay. I can be interrupted. That's how I roll. All right. So it's Wednesday night. It's 5:30 my time right now. And we are talking about money. And, you know, I know this is the subject that people go like this. Because I don't want to talk about money. Because money is scary and money is terrifying and money is private, right? And we don't like to share about our money, and we like to hide our money, and we like to make people think we have more money than we have or less money than we have. We don't want people to know anything about our money, correct? Yes? Those of you who are on video, you know, I want to know that you're hearing me, because that's the deal. Okay, I want to read you some of these quotes. So I love this one from Steve Martin. Oh, I just lost it. Come on. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I love money. I love everything about it. And I got me some pretty good stuff. Got me a $300 pair of socks, got a fur sink, an electric dog polisher, a gasoline powered turtleneck sweater. And of course, I bought some dumb stuff too. And so I want you to each, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down one dumb purchase that you have ever made in your life. One dumb thing that you spend money on. Doesn't have to be big. Okay? Then I want you to write down one dumb thing you continuously spend money on. What is something that you continually spend money on that you know is not serving you? Maybe it's coffee every day, maybe it's a game, maybe, or an app or something like that. Maybe it's clothes that you really shouldn't be buying. And now I want you to write down what one of the smartest choices to purchase ever was for you. And I know you're going to say the starter kit. Don't write the starter kit, even though it probably was. So if you're just joining us, hi Christine. If you're just joining us, I want you to think about what is one of the dumbest things you've ever bought in your life. What is something you continually buy, even though you know it's probably not the smartest thing to buy, or that you spend money on? How's that? What is the smartest financial choice you ever made for something that you bought? And now what's something you wished you could buy? All right, so now if you can unmute yourself, if you're willing to share, I want to know what is one of the stupidest things you've ever bought in your life. Please ignore the chaos in my house because everybody's coming home all at the same time. It's just me. Where's my Mary? Your Mary Kay stuff's on the table, the black table. Do you see it? The big bag? Yeah. Awesome, thank you for driving Anna, Tori. Who wants to share? Come on. What is the dumbest thing you ever bought?
Okay,
Hi, Carol.
I'll go. One of the dumbest things that I have finally stopped doing is buying clothes that will fit in a couple weeks or a couple months.
The goal
I
clothes.
have stopped doing that.
That's a good one. That's a really good one, Patricia. Okay, Dana, you were going to share one? I think it was Dana.
Yeah, it was me. Actually, I have more than one. Probably just, I'm a big impulse buyer. So it could be anything from too many groceries to clothes that don't fit, or yeah, lots of different things.
Okay, that's a good one. Those are like the stuff in the till, the end of the till.
Yeah, I get to the till and I'm like, oh, I don't need.
Yeah. Oh, you muted yourself. Wait. You're muted. There you go. Hang on. There you go. Now talk.
Sorry, my phone rang.
That's okay.
I was gonna say, yeah, like when I go to the dollar store for one thing, and then I end up waiting in a line, and yeah, lo and behold, there's gum or there's whatever, and I'll just start throwing more money on my bill, and I really only went in there for a $1 item.
That's right? Like what's that meme? It says, "Don't ask us how much we spent at Target."
Exactly.
Because we went in
I'm
for
a
a
impulse
sponge.
shopper.
You know,
Sorry?
when you went in for a sponge and you spent $2,000 at Target.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's me right there.
All right. Anybody else want to share a really dumb financial choice or something dumb that they buy regularly?
I would say eating out, even though I've just spent hundreds of dollars on groceries.
Oh, yeah. We can all relate to that, right? You've just bought everything and then you go through the drive-through. Like, why? I know. Okay. So you all agree. You're looking at top directors here. You're looking at people who have money. I am sure Steve Jobs makes poor financial decisions sometimes. And don't forget that money and shame go hand in hand. Write that down. Money and shame go hand in hand, because when we don't have enough money, we have shame. When we think we have more money than we should have because we don't deserve it, we have shame. When we don't think we're taking care of our money, we have shame. Money and shame go hand in hand, and they don't have to. And so really what I'm talking to you about today is less about like how to plan your money and more about your emotional responses to money. Because it's your emotional response to money that holds you back from getting where you want to be. So now a little bit of backstory about me. I'm not going to do my whole sobbing eye story for you. Most of you have heard it. But when I signed my Mary Kay agreement, we moved from Grand Prairie to Okotoks, Alberta. And we moved sort of on a wing and a prayer, as we do lots of things in life. And people told me that I would have no trouble getting a job here in this area, except that I have a master's degree. And so then I cost too much, right? I cost the same amount as 3 teachers. So they didn't hire me, and I'm the primary breadwinner. So, and then we couldn't sell our house because of boom and bust economy in oil and gas. So our house is now worthless in Grand Prairie. And then I discovered that during my maternity leaves, my husband had been paying off our credit cards with our credit line and our credit line with our credit cards. And that all of the purchases I had made over that last 2 years, or like, basically because I had a baby, then I went back to work, then I was on maternity leave with Anna. I was on sick leave for a very long time. I was on bed rest almost my whole pregnancy. Thank God there wasn't online shopping or Netflix, by the way, or cell phones that you could actually type with. I couldn't even imagine being on bed rest now. Or like, then again, I was like, no. But I probably would have spent even more in there. And people always say, because we were like $125,000, $130,000 in personal debt, not including our houses, not including my student loans, not including my vehicle. Think about that. And they always would say to me, how did you get there? You must have had nice things. And here's the kicker, you guys, I didn't. And how many people do we know that have nice things and don't have debt? And how many people do we know don't have nice things and have tons of debt? Because I bought quantity over quality, and I bought things in credit. And when you buy things in credit, compound interest is a real thing. And suddenly that $50 trip to the dollar store in 5 years is a $600 trip to the dollar store. Correct? So that is what happened. That's what happened to me. And that's probably what's happened to most Canadians. In fact, the average Canadian is $45,000 in consumer debt. $45,000. And here's the thing, you guys are scared to ask them if they might like a Mary Kay opportunity. 45 grand in debt, because debt is poverty tax. You don't have enough money to pay for everything you want. So now you get a credit card so that you can pay for everything you want, so that you can add an extra bill to your life and still not pay for everything you want. And now you have to add more money to your bills every month just to pay the minimums and keep incurring that debt over and over again. No, you're not going outside. No. Go talk to the kids. Sorry, dog. Do you not agree How many of you are feeling this? Those of you on video, I know I can't see if you're not on video, but I hope you know, like, that is what ends up happening. And I know, betcha by golly, wow, the most of you have some sort of debt you would like to get rid of. Debt is weighing. Debt weighs on us. It harms us. Now, here's the deal though. Debt's also a tool. Credit is a tool. But you don't build your whole house with a hammer. Be a pretty crappy house. You don't build your whole house with a hammer. It's just like social media is a tool for your business, but you don't do your whole business on social media. It's like building a house with a hammer, right? It's a useful tool. If you're using credit so that you can get some inventory so that you can therefore increase your return on investment, great. If you're using credit so you can buy a house so you're not paying money to a landlord and so that you can make money when you sell that house, that's a smart use of credit. If you're using credit so that you can get a degree so that you can go to school and then make more money, yeah, those are useful ways to use debt. Fair? And then non-useful ways, we do this. We do it always. So how did I get out of that debt? Who would like to know that? Yeah? Okay, because that's the number one thing that people ask me. They're like, well, I mean, how did you get out of it? And I think a lot of people think that I got out of it by being a top director. And I'm here to tell you, I was debt-free before I became a top trip director. Okay? I was debt-free as a new director. $130,000 in debt. So the very first thing I want you to think about is, what are you willing to give up? And I'm so sorry, hang on. Somebody let the dogs out. Welcome to my life. Because they're worse than children. What is something you're willing to give up? And you know, when you look at those videos and stuff and people are like, oh, I know how to cure your debt. You just don't have to get coffee anymore at Starbucks, as though you go through Starbucks every single day. And that is the only reason you have debt, because you spend $60 jillion in Starbucks. If you do, pull your hair, because I can't do it for you, and fix that. But most of the time, it's not those things, right? Most of the reason why we have debt on things that we didn't plan to have debt about, like Dana said, we're not planning to spend that much at the Dollarama, but we do. Most of the reason why we have that extra debt, you guys, is just because of that answer. We are poor planners. We're poor planners. We purchase on impulse. We purchase because things are easier. Yeah? Is that not fair? I mean, how many of you have a grocery budget? How many of you go over your grocery budget every friggin' time?
I used to, but I haven't since January.
Good girl. Steph knows I would pull her hair. I'd figure out a way to go right through the computer, because we've been working on that stuff. Because here's the deal. When you create a budget and then you say, screw the budget, guess what you just did to yourself? You just told yourself that you have no value, you have no control over you, and you don't have to listen to you. Now you tell your kids, no, you can't have ice cream, and then you spoon some ice cream up for them. What did you just tell them? What did you just tell them? I'm sure lots of you saw my Facebook story today when my son said, come get me. And I was like, no, you do not get to speak to me like that. If I had just said, okay, honey, and gone to go get him when he spoke to me like that, what have I told him? Yeah. If you tell yourself it's okay, you don't have to listen to you. The kids need food. It's okay. And every time you do that, you negate yourself. You negate your own self-discipline. And you give into your toddler. So we have two brains. We have the regular advanced brain, this cortex that's hopefully developed. And then we have a toddler brain. And a toddler brain says, but I want the cookie. But I want the cookie. And you can like hold the empty box. I mean, how many of you have toddlers or have had toddlers? You can hold an empty box of cookies and be like, there are no more cookies. I don't know how you think I'm going to make cookies or just like produce them, but I don't care if you want a cookie, there aren't any cookies. And the toddler will still want the cookies. Yes, they always do. Always. And they don't respond to logic. And they don't care if it's not healthy for them, and they don't care if you're driving. And I remember how many times I was driving and the kids would say something like, I'm thirsty, as though I could just like produce water. Right? Just all of a sudden geyser that out there. Logic is gone. Are you toddlers? No, you behave like toddlers. So do I. So do I, just so you know. I'm not just lecturing you, okay? Like, these are things I've had to learn. But when we behave like toddlers and we give into our impulses and our instincts and we just go, well, whatever, that was my budget, but it's okay because, or I said I wasn't gonna go through Starbucks, but I'm really tired today. Or I said I wasn't going to get any more shoes, but then you become toddlers. And every time you give into your toddler-based instinct, you send the message to yourself that you have no value and that what you promise yourself, you're never going to do. And so I think the reason people are so scared to budget and so scared to follow something like a budget is because they are so scared of self-discipline. I think the reason why people are so scared to pursue a Mary Kay business or to be successful with their business is because they are scared of self-discipline. I think the reason people are scared to go to the gym or scared to start a diet plan is because they are scared of self-discipline. And what is the number one thing that will get you where you want to go, that will take you from where you are to where you want to be? Self-discipline. Not me discipline, not Angie yelling at you discipline, not Nadia discipline, not Raven discipline, you discipline. You saying, too bad toddler, I will do this later. Now here's how you get around toddler brain and still get what you want. You have to create a budget that is reasonable, first of all. You have to. You cannot say to yourself, well, that's okay. We will be all right with $10 a month for clothing, for example. And then in December, when you realize the kids have all outgrown every single pair of shoes that they have ever owned in their lives, and you have to go over the budget, but Christmas is also coming and everything else, that won't work well for you. Optimism is the biggest killer of a budget in the world. Write that down. Optimism will kill a budget faster than anything else will. So the first thing I had to do is to create self-discipline when I had to pay off this debt. And sometimes self-discipline, if we don't know how to use it, is imposed on us. So what ended up happening was, in order to get our house, we had to consolidate everything with the bank. And that left us $200. That was it, $200. I'm not exaggerating. I had to pay for gas. Scott had to pay for gas, and we had to pay for food. We had 2 kids. $200 a month for gas and groceries for a family of 4 in Alberta during the bust in 2008. Not so fun. So what did I have to do? What's the first lesson? I had to be self-disciplined and I had to plan. I had to be self-disciplined and I had to plan. Now that was fine. I managed to make that through for a while there, but no debt was getting paid off, guys. Like, I mean, yeah, it was consolidated. So I mean, the payments all went to one big lump sum. So it was getting paid off a little faster than it would have been all in separate credit cards. Yeah. And like we renegotiated our interest and everything. So it wasn't 28%, which is what I was paying on the stupid Sears card I told myself I would never use until somebody's birthday was coming and I didn't have any extra money because I didn't plan. And then I would just go to Sears and then I'd buy myself something pretty. And the kids something pretty, and boy, she got nice presents, and boy, I bought nice things for them. Anyone can relate? So that's how it got paid off. First was that I consolidated, but that would still take a long time. And then my Mary Kay business came into play. Now, you guys, when I signed my agreement, I did not go for an interview with the idea that I was going to sign up. I actually went for free cheesecake. She promised me cheesecake. She said that we could go for cheesecake, and I hadn't had cheesecake in forever. And I was like, all right. And then she didn't even take me for cheesecake because there was a career conference was happening the next day. I ended up at Donna Melnishen's house and getting interviewed by Karen Hollingworth, Donna Melnishen, and Gail Adamson all at the same time. I mean, I wasn't getting out of there alive, like for real. But I did. I left without signing up, just so we're clear. But part of that was like, I understood the concept of making more money, but I didn't think I had any more time to make any more money. And all I was so focused on was saving money. So that's the other side of this. You can budget the money you already are making. But I want you to, on the other side of your paper, be like, Mary Kay, math doesn't work like that. So when you want more money, you don't have to take from other parts of the budget. That's the hole you have to fill. Brenda Summick always says you have to make a hole and fill it. Otherwise, you'll stay comfortable forever. And comfort is a weird phrase because, you know, you might not think you're comfortable, but you are, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be where you are. You wouldn't be stuck if you, like, not that I'm saying you are stuck because you may not be, but you wouldn't be stuck if you were comfortable. If you weren't comfortable, I mean, sorry. I apparently need more water. All right. So the other part of that is Mary Kay Abundance. So when I decided to sign my Mary Kay agreement, and I knew we had one credit card that did not get consolidated. It had a $300 limit on it, $150 left. And I had frozen that in the freezer in case of emergencies. It was my emergency bank account. And I had to defrost it to pay for my Mary Kay agreement. Scott did not speak to me for like 3 weeks, not even one word. Like he would be like, kids have been fed, and leave. That was it. No extraneous conversation from him whatsoever. He was mad. You guys have to understand that not only did I get that, but I also had a $30,000 audit I had to pay off for my jewelry business I had been running before. And now I was going to start another business. And he was like, no. So what I did then is I made a plan, because you have to make a plan. And I decided that I would take my profits, which is 40%, not 50. I was very good about my weekly accomplishment sheet. I'm good now again. There was a while there I was not. So I got very good with my weeklies. And on my weekly accomplishment sheet, I would take my 40% profit and knew I wanted to have some product on hand. I understood that. So then I was able to take the 20% of that, so 40% divided in two, 20% of it went back into my business, and 20% went to our debt. It didn't go anywhere else. It did not go anywhere else. I did not say, okay, now I have more money for groceries, even though that was originally my goal, was to double my grocery budget. But I figured, you know what, we were doing okay with it, right? Now I had to have a minimum amount, because what I did do is I took the amount that we were paying on our credit card and I made sure I had to add to that, so that it wasn't like, oh, okay, now if I don't make any money this month, it's all right, that it's not going to the debt. There was a minimum amount of money that had to be paid to that, no matter what. And then I said, if I want to do anything fun with my kids, because there was no entertainment budget, anything I wanted to do that was fun had to come from my commissions. That's from team members. Anything fun. So if I wanted a Zoom membership, that had to come from commissions, and I had to figure it out. Because you guys, there was no extra money. There was no option to just go, oh, okay, I'll just do this instead. There was no extra money. So I had to go, okay, well, I need this many team members in order to pay this much money for the Zoom membership. And remember, I needed a new computer so badly. Like my computer was just like, I mean, it was pretty much like made in 1974. It was so old and so like not working. And I needed one so badly. And my DIQ commission check that year or that month was $850. And that's what I bought my new computer with. Because it was like, that was the extra. Okay. And then once I started to make enough money as a director and where I could feel like more than 20% could go into different things, or I had the inventory I wanted, that's when I decided where that extra money was going to go. So it's about making those decisions and making sure that you're really careful and really planning that out. You know, Raven did a really great one the other day. And if you haven't seen it yet, it is on the YouTube channel. And she talks about that, about having different bank accounts for different things. You guys, you know, I make good money. Yeah. You know, I do. And yet I still, on our household budget, for example, we pay $8 every time Scott gets paid to his band fees account, because he pays for the school band that he plays in for trombone. And we put that away every single pay. Now, I mean, it's what, Scott, how much is it for your band membership? Like 80 bucks? 80 bucks every few months. Do you think I don't have $80 I could just throw that way? Right? So now, as a top director, I am incorporated. So my money is, I take a draw that I pay our family every single month. There's an exact amount that I cannot go under, or my kids don't eat. And that includes everything. That's the other thing about planning. What are your yearly expenses? What do you spend money on? You know, even an Amazon Prime membership, how much is that? 70 bucks a year? Do you have money set aside for it every single month? No, it just comes through and then you're like, oh, now there's $70 out of my account. Well, that's all fine and dandy if you're living on credit cards. But it isn't if that means you couldn't pay for groceries that week. And my hope, and one of the biggest things that I do for my business, is that my dream is that other people will not have to do what I had to do. That you will never be somewhere where you have to think, well, you know, I went to career conference the next day. I went to the Friday night career conference and I had to park in the parkade. I thought it was included because my director paid for my registration for that night. So I thought the parking was included as part of it. And it was $25. And that was my food money for the week. So my kids didn't get bread and milk and eggs because of that. No, that's not true. I thought they wouldn't get bread and milk and eggs because of that. I cried the whole way home. And then I prayed. And then my friend Jen called me out of the blue. And I wasn't quite home yet. And I was sobbing. And she said, what is going on? And I was like, I signed up for this Mary Kay thing and I don't even think it's gonna work and I have to pay this much money for something and I don't know what. And she's like, well, I need some stuff. And her order was enough to reimburse my starter kit and that $25. Right then. There is money out there. So if there isn't enough money in your personal budget, this is where your Mary Kay money comes into play. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at your personal budget, first of all. Like a good hard look. There are really great apps that do this for you, like mint.com and things like that will track your spending. Remember, optimism is the biggest thing that will wreck your budget. Do not be optimistic. Do not be like, oh, well, that's okay. We'll never go through McDonald's. Liar. You totally will. So you better budget for it. You might not go as much, but you will. You will have nights that you're going to order pizza because, hello, we're moms. There are nights that you just have to. Okay, otherwise nobody's eating, right? There are times that you will have to buy more groceries in December, you know, in the summertime when the kids are home and eating like locusts. Yeah? And you think they're eating a lot now, Crystal, wait till they're teenagers. I can't even. But there's ways around things, and it doesn't always have to be that you have to just budget so that you're just stressed out. I was always so scared of a budget because I thought it meant that I'd have to deprive myself. And what I really want to leave you with this is that budgeting is freeing. It is freeing because there's no longer that anxiety about where the heck is that money coming from. Because I know where it's coming from. And if I don't know where it's coming from, you have a little bag that you can get all of it in. You have the opportunity, because what do we sell people? Hope. Whether they sign up for personal use and just leave it in the closet, or whether they come in to do some money, we sell people hope. We sell people the opportunity to realize that there's a way to make money in the closet, that they don't have to invest any more money in because it's there. How many national stories start with, I bought my starter kit and it sat in the closet for a year till something happened? Are you living a millionaire's lifestyle without earning a millionaire paycheck? And you know what ends up happening? You know you're lying. You know you're lying. And you can lie to everybody but yourself. And when you know you're lying to yourself, what do? You feel shame. And people who feel shame don't get on the phone. And people who feel shame don't inspire other people to make money. Do you know 100% that what the money that you're spending on is worth buying? Do you know that you didn't give in to your lizard brain or your toddler brain today? If you're really bad for giving into this, whether it's eating in the fridge at night or a glass of wine or, spending money where you shouldn't be spending money or going through a drive-thru or whatever, here's one little handy thing before I leave you that I want you to start doing, okay? And you don't have to buy anything for this, but if you want to go to the dollar store, you can do this. You can get little beads, those little glass beads, okay, or rocks. If you don't want to buy anything, you don't have to do that, in a little jar. And every time that you say to your toddler brain, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I do want chocolate. And then you put it into your calendar that you're going to get chocolate tomorrow at 3 p.m. or you're going to get chocolate when you're done your 10 phone calls or whatever it is that you want. Every time that you renegotiate with your toddler brain and you do give it logic, you put a little bead in that jar. Because that is where you're going to start to really make money, because every bead in that jar, it represents like $1,000. Because if you can't be the boss of you at the fridge, and you can't be the boss of you at the grocery store, and you can't be the boss of you at the dollar store, then you can't be the boss of you in your business. It all starts with those things. Good money management just means you are in control. Lizard brain's not in control. Toddler brain's not in control. You're in control of you. And how on earth can you tell people that you can make money in Mary Kay when you know you're not, because you're not tracking it? You don't know where it's going. If at the end of the star quarter, you are a star consultant and you don't have $1,800 in an account or have spent it with something that you know where it went, then something is wrong and you can fix it. You have the opportunity. You have the power to do it. We don't work for prizes. We work for the things that money can buy us, and we work for the freedom and the challenges that are there. And they're just little carrots along the way. How can you use that money wisely? How can you use it as a tool so that it's not the only thing you use to build your house in your business? Okay, any questions while I make sure everybody's in the draw here? You have to unmute yourself, remember, because I can't hear you. I mean, I'm good at reading lips, but not quite that good. Any comments? Questions?
Hey, Carol,
Yeah.
it's
Hi,
Chris
Chris.
here.
Hi.
What is that budget app you were talking about?
There's one called mint.com, and it is safe. My banker actually recommended it. And what it does is it analyzes your bank account and it'll tell you how much you're spending on gas or anything else. The only thing that I don't like about it is it'll do, like, anytime it's an Interac, it just says Interac, then it doesn't really know where that is, but it's a good place to start. Another really good place to start is to keep all your receipts for just 3 months. Keep everything, every bill, everything. And just keep a running tally of everything. Anytime that you have to spend money on anything, like, oh crap, the dog needs a license this year, right, Steph? When we were doing that stuff together, we were like, yeah, dog license, you know, like there's a business license that's due every year. Your business budget's different than your home budget. Keep your business and your home stuff separate, please, dear God. Please learn from me. Learn from the time that Scott was in the hospital. And I realized on month end that all the money I had made from profits and from my orders from my customers, he had spent. And it's month end and I'm not done my order yet. And he's in the hospital getting a CAT scan because they think he's having a stroke. And I have to go to career conference the next day. And I can't even order the products from my customers because he looked at the money and went, woohoo. You learned from me. Keep them separate. You got to keep them separated. Who is the Galaxy, by the way? Galaxy A70? I don't know who that is. Okay, any other questions? This is a short call for such a big subject, which is why we're still going to keep doing stuff about money management as we go along. Like that's why we're splitting these things up, but it's so important.
I just want to say thank you, Carol, because it's nice to know that directors have the same problems that we've seen with money problems. And you guys are not just born rich. You guys have been exactly where we were. So it's nice to hear it.
I mean, I've always been the primary breadwinner, Christine, like, and so to not have enough money for my family, that was tough. And I'm so glad, actually. You know what? I'm really grateful because if I had signed up for Mary Kay when I thought I had tons of money, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I don't just work for money now. I work for you. I work for there's a stability in my income now so that it's like I don't have to hustle to get the basic amount of money. But if I want more, I still have to work for that. And there's lots of different tips and tricks that I use. I'll share a funny story for you. When I was sick in December and I was in bed, I decided to download the Scrabble app because if you know me, you know I love my Scrabble. I love Scrabble. And I thought, I'll just buy these gems. And then I'll just buy these gems. And then I'll just buy these gems. And I have a little credit card that's like a $300 limit on it. And it's my travel credit card. So if it ever gets scammed or whatever, I'm fine. And I use it for dinners out or whatever. It's a good way to build up your credit rating, by the way, is to get a small limit credit card. Don't go past halfway and then pay it off every single month in full. So I went to go pay it off and realized I had gone over my limit in Scrabble gems. $350. Plus they charged me $25 for going over my limit in Scrabble gems. So I could win games against people I had never met. Because $5 here and $5 here and $5 here adds up. It adds up. When I was working with my coach, because they made me go to a credit counselor when I was going through all of this, when I was working with my coach, she made me go shopping and just fill the cart in the Shoppers Drug Mart or whatever with anything I wanted to buy. And I had to write it all down and then put it all back. And I would have spent close to 10 grand in 6 months on nothing. Cute notebooks and pens. And oh, these are cute. Oh, that's cute. It's only $5. Anytime that you want to buy something that's worth $5, I want you to multiply it by the number of months. And that's how much it costs you per year to buy it once a month. Now, is it worth it? You know, think about Netflix. They charge you $12 a month, right? But if they said to you, hey, you can have this for the whole year and it's only $120, you'd be like, nope. But because it's per month, it's small. That's how they get you. $2 a day adds up in your coffees. And $5 here and $5 there. And this app for my business and this thing for this and this thing for that. They add up. And it is so easy to do. And I want you to know I have a genius level IQ and I still spend $350 on freaking Scrabble gems. So like, if I can do it, you can do that.
Hey, Carol, are you going to be posting this soon? I missed the beginning. I was home late from work tonight. So kind of want to go back and then start it over.
I will for sure. It takes a while for the Zoom recording to go into the cloud. So usually it takes a day before it
Okay.
shows up and says, hey, you can now process it. And then it takes like a day for it to go onto YouTube. It takes forever. It drives me crazy. I don't know how these
Okay.
people do it.
I'll watch for it then.
It's usually
Thanks.
1 or 2 days that I can usually get it in.
Okay,
Okay.
super. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys all so much for coming on. And really, I just want you to really get quiet with yourself and think, what do I got to fix? What am I giving into my toddler brain for? All right, Dana. Dana, you're the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Dana's in my unit, so she doesn't have to worry. Where'd she go? She's here somewhere. She had a really bad day, so that's perfect. So she wins, and I will give her something pretty. Anybody else have anything else for me before I let you guys go?
Big thank you.
Good, good. Okay. Anybody want to share one thing they're going to fix? No? Everybody's scared?
Write things down, Carol. Thank you.
Yeah. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
I wish I'd had this when I started.
Oh my gosh, I'm serious. I think, well, I've been talking to corporate a lot about this. We need better money management training for our people. We can say it and say it and say it and say it, but it's practicing it that really matters.
That's right.
And really, it's so easy to do when you're working for a prize to just roll that money in. It's so easy. Oh, this is on sale. It makes good sense to put money towards this. No, it doesn't. If you don't have a plan of where you're selling that, it doesn't make sense to do it. So be careful and really know where your money's going. Okay? Be cheap where it matters and be rich where it matters. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.